Welcome to Active Monitoring for Test Examiners.
Test security is critical for a successful test administration, where scores can be reviewed as accurate and meaningful and test content is secure. A strong test security plan allows for examiners and test coordinators to respond immediately to events that occur during the administration before they escalate into irregularities or invalidations. Implementing a test security plan also leads to a less stressful testing administration. Start gathering everything you need for testing. You should study the Test Administration Manual. You will need to know when tests are scheduled in your district and how long test times are for your administration. Make sure to have the proper equipment for your students, including students with accommodations. You should have information on who to contact in case issues arise during testing. Remember, all test examiners must be GAPSC certified, and a proctor is required for 30 or more students.
Make sure to familiarize yourself with all of the test examiner script found in the Test Administration Manual, as well as any other documents that you need to distribute to students. The electronic version of the TAM can be found on the Assessment and Accountability Resource Repository in Inspire. One of the major issues causing irregularities during testing is student use of electronic devices such as cell phones. Examiners should have a plan for collecting devices before testing begins. Some students require technology for medical reasons. Work with your school test coordinator to have a plan for such instances. Always monitor the classroom to identify students who attempt to access their cell phones during testing. If devices are found, work with your school test coordinator to check the device for evidence of cheating or sharing test content. The participant test rosters contain a list of all participants in the registration. It also includes the test ticket information, accommodations, and the form number assigned to each participant. Once the test tickets and rosters are verified, the test tickets can be distributed to participants for testing. The table on the right includes the abbreviations for all accommodations that are activated within the test. There are also accommodations such as extended time that will not be listed because they are managed by the examiner and not activated within the testing client. Test tickets contain the participant's username and password for the registration. The participant will receive one ticket per section of the test. Test examiners should verify the course, participant name, GTID, and accommodations. This is an extremely important step to avoid test irregularities such as accommodation errors or participants testing under another participant's GTID. If no accommodation exists, NA will be indicated. If there are changes to accommodations, be sure to manage updates and distribution of new test tickets before the participant begins testing. Test examiners and proctors should move around the room the entire testing time, viewing students from different angles. Actively moving around the room discourages negative testing behavior and ensures that examiners react to testing issues before they become irregularities. Test examiners should be actively monitoring during the entire testing time by walking around the room, assisting students with technology questions, and checking on students who are looking to gain information from other students. Test examiners should use testing time for monitoring and not doing other work. Test examiners should never point to test answers, share content knowledge, or give students any advantage during testing. The test administrator may look at the test to see whether responses are entered and may not examine or comment on individual responses. Students should choose End Test and Submit to properly send responses for scoring. Examiners should not review test content or make suggestions for students to check particular test items. We will review a few scenarios that might occur during testing and the appropriate response. Here, a student receives the conditional read aloud accommodation. When the examiner notices this issue, they should contact the school test coordinator and note the time and number of items completed. This incident can be avoided by reviewing the accommodations on the roster and testing ticket before the test begins. A student completes testing and searches the internet online with their computer. The examiner should check to see if the student is reviewing test content and contact their test coordinator. Examiners should have a plan to offer students an activity not related to the test content for when they finish testing. If a student asks how to complete testing, the examiner should tell the student to click Review/End Test, choose End Test, and then click Submit. All students should learn how to properly submit tests using practice tests before operational testing. What if a student asks about a math problem such as questions about the formula needed? The examiner should tell them that they can only answer questions about procedures and not about the content of the test. By responding appropriately, the student can continue testing without interruption. If a student requests to go to the bathroom during testing, the examiner should tell the student to pause the test before leaving the testing room. The examiner should note the time and allow the student to have the missed time to complete testing. Schools should have a plan to monitor students in the halls while they are out of the room for emergencies. If the examiner finds a student who snuck a cell phone into the test room and suspects it was being used to get answers on the test, they should collect the device and allow the student to continue testing. Contact the school test coordinator so they can check the device for test content. If cheating is confirmed, stop the student from testing and remove from the test session. Cheating can lead to the invalidation of test scores. In summary, test examiners should use practice tests to ensure students are prepared for testing. Collect student devices ahead of testing. Have a response plan for incidents that arise during testing. Active monitoring includes staying engaged, moving around the room, and using multiple vantage points to view the testing room. Responding to incidents immediately and communicating with your test coordinator can keep minor incidents from escalating to irregularities.